Hello, this is my Python chat room application that I've made. Just go through it really quick. Start off in our server. This is what will host the clients in the chat room. We create the socket, which is what Python uses in order to communicate over a network, listening for connections, and whenever we receive a message, it goes through here, and in turn this sends the message back with the correct header and the data being the message. We continue through. This finds new connections, and this is what happens right here. We receive that new connection. We save the username that is given to us, which is the first message that the client will send us. And we accept it and save it so that we can continue using it while they are connected. That's for if it is a new client being added. But if it's an existing socket sending a message, we go here, receive the message. If it's false, that means they disconnected, and then we close the connection. And then we just print out a little display saying the message that we received, and then send that message to all of the clients that we have. And then some exceptions just in case we run into any. GUI and GUI copy are both the same. We have a Tkinter GUI, graphical user interface, that displays everything in a nice display so that it's easy to use. We have our send message, which is just takes the message, encodes it, adds the header, which is used to make sure we have all of the proper information, adds them, and sends them to the server. We have display message, which just takes the message that we received and inserts it into the message display at the very end. On click, this looks at listening to the button that we have on our screen to see when it gets clicked, and it checks to make sure first that the box isn't just empty, so it doesn't send an empty message. We pull the global username, and if it's empty, that means that this is the first message being sent. So we fill the username with whatever is in the text box, clear the text box, and send the user value, which is a special function used just this once because there's a few things that need to happen once the user gets sent. Otherwise, if it's not the first message, we just display it as normal. So we display the message that we sent, then send the message, and clear the text box. Here we're building the user interface using Tkinter. Just a scroller so we can scroll through the text box, the button, the message display, and the text box. Just four simple things. First message, display, please enter your username. Make sure that we get the user's username. And then we have here, this while true loop will continually listen for any new messages that we have. It's on a loop here. After that, we just call it again. We pull the username out of the header. That's what this header length is for. And then if there's no data in the file, then that means the server closed and we can just forget about it. We convert the length into an integer to make it easy to use, and decode the username so that we can use it to display. This all receives and decodes the message so that we can then go here to print and display the message, as well as a little bit of error exception. And finally, we have send user, which encodes and sends the user, as well as sends a little message saying that they entered the chat, and enters the loop for get message. So we'll go ahead and run all of that. We'll open the server first. We can see now that it is running. It's listening for connections. So if we open up the first one, we can see it asks us to enter a username. I will just enter my name. Send. And we can see we accepted the new connection and we received the message. And we can see here that it said that as well. So if we open the second, we can see an exact copy. Let's put in a different name. If we click send message, we can see over here Tommy has entered the chat as well as accepted a new connection. So we can send a message here and it'll be received over here. And if we send a message from here, it'll be received there. When we close out, we can see that the server recognizes a closed connection from both of them.